A sharp voice cut through the crowded terminal. "Sir, you cannot enter this airport lounge." Ibrahim Traoré froze, not because he was a common visitor, but because the eyes behind the desk didn't see a respected African leader. They saw only a problem. What happened next wasn't just an insult to a man, it was an outrage that echoed across the world. Introduction and setup. Paris. Springtime. The soft drizzle hung in the air, casting a gray veil over Charles de Gaulle Airport. The once bustling terminal had that cold, mechanical hum, fluorescent lights buzzing faintly overhead, the distant murmur of announcements, and the rolling of heavy suitcases across tiled floors. Amid this sea of strangers, Ibrahim Traoré moved with measured purpose. The president of Burkina Faso, known for his sharp intellect and revolutionary zeal, was returning from a diplomatic mission. His face carried the weight of battles fought and promises made, the kind of face that told stories of hope clashing with hardship. His tailored jacket, though perfectly cut, bore the faintest signs of travel. Creases from hours spent navigating airports, a slight dustiness from the Sahel winds. His eyes, usually fierce and commanding, were tired today. Behind those eyes was the quiet longing of a leader desperate to lift his people from decades of neglect and misunderstanding. To him, this was more than a trip. It was a mission. A mission to build bridges, to assert dignity where none had been given. And yet, the moment he reached the entrance of the airport's VIP lounge, everything changed. Conflict or challenge introduced. "Your passport, please." The security agent said curtly, barely glancing up. Ibrahim handed over his credentials. The agent scanned them, paused, then shook his head. "You're not authorized to enter this lounge," he said flatly. A murmur rippled around the small crowd gathering nearby. Some looked away, uncomfortable. Others stared. Ibrahim's calm facade cracked just slightly. "I am the president of Burkina Faso," he said softly but firmly. "I am entitled to this access." The agent's lips curled into a tight smile. "That's not how it works here." A young woman standing to the side whispered, "Isn't that the president of Burkina Faso? Why are they stopping him?" But the official wasn't interested in explanations. Instead, he called for backup. Ibrahim's heart pounded, not out of fear but shock. The dignity he had carried for years felt suddenly fragile, as if reduced to a fragile glass ornament that could shatter at the slightest touch. Midpoint, revelation, or twist. Suddenly, a voice cut through the tense air. Enough. It was Marie, a French airport staffer who had watched the scene unfold. She stepped forward with steady eyes and a calm voice. "Sir, you are not just a traveler here. You are a guest of honor. The treatment you are receiving is unacceptable." The security agent bristled, but Marie's presence seemed to command respect. She pulled aside the official, whispering urgently. Minutes later, the situation escalated into a public spectacle. Security personnel roughly escorted Ibrahim Traoré out of the lounge, refusing to apologize. Journalists snapped photos. Social media erupted. What the world saw next was an image no one expected. The proud leader, escorted out as if a criminal, his face a mixture of disbelief and quiet fury. The twist? This humiliation sparked not shame within the system, but outrage across the globe. Citizens, politicians, activists, and even some French public figures condemned the treatment as a stark reminder of the colonial shadows still lingering in modern institutions. Climax, emotional breakthrough. Back. In Burkina Faso, news of the incident traveled fast. Ibrahim Traoré sat alone in his office, the weight of the world pressing down. But rather than retreat into bitterness, something inside him shifted. He remembered a worn stone gifted to him by a village elder, engraved with the words, "You are not broken. You are becoming." That night he crafted a speech, not of anger but of hope. "I was humiliated, yes," he said, standing before his people and the world. "But this moment reminds us why we must rise, to demand respect, to rewrite the narrative, to reclaim our dignity." The speech went viral, touching hearts far beyond Africa. People from Paris to New York, Nairobi to London, shared his message. Solidarity marches were held. The incident became a catalyst, a mirror reflecting systemic prejudice but also a beacon igniting change. Resolution and quiet closure. Months later, a new chapter began. The French government issued a formal apology, promising reforms in airport, protocol and anti-discrimination training. Marie, the staffer who had stood up, was promoted and became a symbol of allyship. At dawn, Ibrahim stood outside the presidential palace, the sun painting the sky with hues of gold and pink. The air was crisp, filled with promise. His worn watch ticked steadily on his wrist, no longer a symbol of broken time, but of resilience. He smiled softly. Sometimes, humiliation plants the seeds of transformation, and from those seeds, a forest of dignity can grow. Call to action. If this story touched your heart, consider subscribing for more inspiring tales of hope, healing, and unexpected kindness. Hit the like button and share this with someone who needs it today.